Oh man, I'm so pessimistic every year because I've been doing this for so long now. I'm at like a 7, with the potential to be at an 8.
Cam Halbert, aka Sleeveless Gaming on YouTube, who we hope you're all following and subscribed to. If you're subscribed to us, we would like you to be subscribed to him as well, because I am not a heavy video game player, but I watch video game videos because of Cam, and he absolutely rocks. You were at that event. You played NHL 25. You're currently grinding on NHL 25. That comes out on Friday. So what is the biggest complaint going to be about NHL 25?
Oh, I love that you come with the heat immediately. Also,
Giving people
you
what they
are
want.
you are a video game boy, dude. The Parappa the Rapper reference makes you absolutely a video game connoisseur. When it comes to what people are going to complain about when it comes to NHL, um, eh, there's a lot of D2D one-timers. There's skill-based one-timers are now a thing, and I think that maybe the player base might find that those go in quite a bit. But I mean, franchise mode specifically, I talked a little bit about this last time I was on. Franchise mode looks and is pretty heat so far, fellas. So if you're out there and you've been playing NHL for a long time and you like being the armchair GM, maybe you like to make some of the crazy trades or scenarios that these fine fellows sit down and discuss and make up, you might be able to do that and have a little bit more fun than in years past. So franchise looks like it's in a pretty decent spot. We'll wait and see once everyone gets their hands on it. Right now, we're in early access, and I'm currently live on a subathon. I've been live for like 40 hours, so I apologize for the cot in the background.
What's a subathon? Because we should be doing that.
Wait, so are you streaming while doing the show right now?
Technically, yeah. Like I've got this video up so my stream can
Oh,
see it. But yeah, I've been live for like 40 hours. So I slept on stream to this past morning, got like 5.5 hours, and then we're just back up. We keep going. Every time someone subscribes to the channel, 5 minutes gets added to the clock. My community has been extremely generous so far, so I've been going since like Monday afternoon, and we'll keep going for a max to
you didn't know
seven
about
days, and
this?
then I gotta call it.
I know about the thing where you have to add time. How many subs you get off that?
Quite a few. I'm at 1,164 currently
During the stream?
during the stream. Yeah.
What the fuck? Let's do. All right, thank you, Cam. Let's just start doing that now.
DJ's such like a sub whore that now like we're absolutely going to be doing a subathon because of you. You
You're
motherfucker.
24. You're uncapped subathon when the season starts. Like that's I feel like what's got to happen now on YouTube. Oh yeah, you're toast. I
Uncapped
apologize, Sean.
subathon when the season starts would be incredible, because theoretically we could die.
We could be live for the entire season.
Just like until we die.
The first hockey podcast to be live the entire 82 game season.
And then the comments would be, what jersey do you think we get? We don't know, because it would turn into like who dies first, who offers themselves
Dude.
up for cannibalism first.
If you did a subathon from the start of the season to the end of the regular season, you could retire. If it
We
just
probably
lasted
could.
the
Well-
entire- you could retire. You'd be like, oh, it was a good run.
One way or another, yeah, we would be retired.
Uh,
Sean's got such a like. There's gonna be at least 20% of their brains combined that is like gonna want to talk about this after. I'm not fucking doing it.
I've played a few games of NHL 25 so far.
Mhm.
I'm curious about your thoughts on like state of gameplay, state of presentation, outside of like full game modes, just like you're dropping in, what's the game like?
Gameplay this year, I kind of when they released all of the Ice Q features, they called it. I don't think I mentioned that I didn't think they were going to be like game break or game changing. It just makes the game look a little bit cleaner. And this year, so far, I mean, I played like 40 games maybe online. I haven't noticed as many of those like I mentioned, like stick through the boards and those, your goalie is kicking it into his own net. I haven't seen a lot of that. It looks a lot smoother. Like I said, I think that one of the main focuses so far has been the one timers. The one timer is definitely back in NHL 25, and it's awfully satisfying when you hit it. It just goes in maybe a little too much for the player base liking, but I think there'll be an adjustment period there. But it feels really smooth, and knock on wood. We'll wait and see. There's obviously always things that they can improve and whatnot, but so far it's been half decent in terms of gameplay, which I think is usually always extremely critical.
So
If anybody is somehow joining us, by the way, from Cam's stream, subscribe. We love you. People in the
Oh
chat
yeah, yo,
are noting that. So,
yeah, fellas, make sure you hop over there.
yes, I just my initial takeaways. This is my opinion. The game feels really good. It does. The gameplay feels really good. They've improved on some things that I was hoping that they would improve on. I haven't gotten into franchise mode, but one thing that like really stood out to me, it's a small thing. The replay system is so much better in this game, where like when you would play games in previous years, they would show you like an absolutely terrible replay after something cool happened. They've fixed that, which I really, really appreciate. My biggest complaint from a game, like single game kind of system, which may play into franchise mode, but like it doesn't feel like there's a uniqueness to the games. Like, and I feel that way because I go from College Football 25, which like you go into a game, and whether it's the presentation, whether it's kind of the different and the variety of things that happen from a game to game basis, you're like, that's really cool. I haven't seen that yet. Or like, you know, it just feels like this game has its own personality. You don't get that on a game-by-game basis in NHL 25. You didn't get it in 24. You didn't get it in 23. I think that's really where they need to improve.
Yeah, and it's funny because I mean, college football, that was the biggest. It was so refreshing. We talked about this last time. Like, college football is one of the first sports games where they had multiple years lined up, and they really focused on presentation as well as like offline modes, like race for the Heisman and Dynasty and things like that. And I think that a lot of sports fans really crave that traditional like broadcast experience and the individuality of each of the arenas. Like they do an okay job, I guess, at the bowls and how those are set up, like the architecture in game. But you're really not looking at that except for when you see the replays of it, and it is kind of basic. Like MSG, for example, you can see that like the lower bowl when right before the glass where like there's that space in between where you walk down, things like that. But I agree. I think that one of the biggest things, I mean, I obviously my main mode is Hockey Ultimate Team, and something that I've harped on is that they don't show the center ice logo of the arena you're using or the logo you're using. They show like whatever mode you're playing in HUT, and that just goes to show you. I agree with when it comes to presentation. I just want to see the traditional arena logo. But what you said about how the games don't feel any different or special, I agree with that. Like I think they need to do a really big passover for presentation where it kind of mimics what you see. You know, the one that just comes off the top of my head is the whiteout in Winnipeg. You know, I want to see that things like that in more of the individuality. It'd be really cool. We were in when we were in Seattle. It's hard to get the copyright, I'm sure, for all of the goal songs. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't really know the process of that. But they have like one of the cooler like after goal song like chants, and that stuff's infectious to me. So maybe again, we're a little bit older and we've been playing franchise mode since we were kids. But I agree. I think that makes it way more immersive if you can get that presentation to the level of college football. I don't know if it'll ever get there because of just the investment and how big the sport is, but I would love to see that.
Hey, thanks for watching the channel.
we appreciate everybody who checks out our stuff, but 80% of our viewers are not actually subscribed to this page. So if you could smash that subscribe button, it would go a very long way for us.
The more subscriptions we have, the more visibility we get from YouTube, which allows us to do more.
So press that button. Thank you. One of the things that I know NHL 25 was pushing as an improvement was AI and your teammates, when you have the puck, if it's like the computer, what they're doing. I'll base this on like playing games a million years ago where like you have the puck and you make a logical hockey play, but that your teammate is like has his like butt in somebody else for some dumb reason. And like what makes hockey so great is like, let's say you're playing with the Oilers. If you have the puck and you're not Connor McDavid, you should assume that Connor McDavid is doing something crazy and that he's going to slip through somebody or whatever. Has that come as advertised? Like, have you noticed an improvement in teammates making plays when you have the puck?
Like I said, so like when all of the three things, so I think it's called reactive AI is what they called it. All of those little things it makes the game look a little bit cleaner. I haven't noticed AI running into each other like was one of the biggest issues over the last few years. So it is definitely improved. I don't think it's at a perfect point, but something to note that one of the bigger things that they talked about was that the AI will fight to get open. And I definitely noticed that. And again, it kind of drives to for not forcing, but the game is definitely pushing you to look for a one timer. And again, that's kind of like the main, the skill based one timer is kind of the thing that they're pushing. And it definitely promotes cycling the puck more and making passing plays, quick movements, things like that to look for that open one timer. So they definitely fight to get open. So that is an improvement in itself. It just, I think the actual one timers are a little over the top, but we'll have to see. Maybe they'll tinker with them throughout the season. The other thing I would love to see, again, touching on presentation when you're playing someone in game, is just there's a lot on the screen that doesn't look like real hockey, like the pressure meter, and then when you have a skill based one timer, it kind of lights up green, and it reminds me of someone in the community. I think Uninstall is his name. Showed like a clip where it's like this NBA 2K when you hit the green, when you get a green shot, it just looks very arcadey. And I think that for some people that might not be what they want, but it does look like there are options to turn it off if you're playing
Buddy,
franchise mode, which is nice.
there are, because I was playing last night and I was I think you should leave me. There's too much fucking shit on me. I turned off all of that. There's just so many things happening all at once. And like part of my complaint about NHL too is like they're improving the gameplay with like these small tweaks, like the pressure meter is a nice addition to the game, in my opinion, but it shouldn't be in your face. Like that should just be an under the hood kind of thing where like you shouldn't know that the pressure meter is on, but like as you build pressure in a zone in hockey, like that should lead to better results. And I think that they want to make sure and like slap a label on every new feature that they have, which is a little bit annoying.
No, 100%. I talked about this last year when they added the full pressure system and the goalie fatigue system, I think they called it. It's a very arcadey way to get to a sim based result.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you are just pumping your opponent in the offensive zone, like those players, when you get stuck out there for a 2 minute shift against Connor McDavid, they barely move, or a power play that's stuck out there for a full 2 minutes. By the end of that 2 minutes, they're not moving in real hockey. And I think that there really wasn't a way to emulate that in the video game. So this full pressure system is a very arcadey way to kind of get to that result where all their guys, all your players, if you're stuck in your own zone, you can barely skate. You're hoping your goalie makes a save, and so you can freeze the puck. But like I mentioned, it's a very arcadey way to get to a sim-based result. And now that you can turn off like at least seeing it, maybe at least in franchise mode, I think that that's an improvement for some players because the system in the background, I think it's okay. Again, just if it's not so much flashing lights and stuff on the ice, it just because it reminds me of like NHL hits, but NHL hits was so over the top that you knew what you were doing when you went into it. You're trying to play like something that looks like what you watch on TV, and that's maybe not what the entire player base wants to see.
That's why I want to be able to turn off the the post goal celebration cutscene things. Just let me go back to the way it used to be. It feels very jarring every time I score a goal that they cut into like this cinematic thing. So that's my next ask. Please do that. So you've had it for like less than a week at this point.
Yep.
Above what you expected, below what you expected? Are you happy, unhappy?
Oh man, I'm so pessimistic every year because I've been doing this for so long now. I'm at like a 7, with the potential to be at an 8, which I think when it comes to the NHL video game landscape, there's just been so much hatred since NHL 14. This game has a lot of potential, especially for Hockey Ultimate Team. Again, that's my main mode, so it's always the one that I kind of go back to. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I think it's currently a 7, could be a 6, could be an 8. So I think the next month is going to be very important with like content and updates and patches and stuff like that. In terms of, and then once the big thing online is once the player base figures out kind of the path of least resistance to scoring, that's always like the worst spot because in a video game, the better you get at the video game, the less it emulates the real sport and the more you're playing a video game and trying to do and break that, right? So it's always a delicate balance, but I've got a little bit more faith after the first few days, but we'll have to wait and see.
I know how to bring it up to maybe an 8 or 9. You said that they're really pushing one-timers. I think that maybe in a future game, they should embrace tapping it in on the doorstep. There's this guy called Zach Hyman, who I think could make an incredible cover athlete.
I would love to see the maybe underrated stars get a cover athlete shot. I remember, I think it was NHL 17. Actually, I'll never forget it because there was a cover vote and Tarasenko won it, but Pavelski, I believe, made it to the very end. And I remember being devastated because Tarasenko ended up winning it. I would love to see that. Just put everyone in there. Hyman's a 50 goal scorer, you know? Oil Nation, you're an oil man yourself. I'm sure that you would get the numbers up. Maybe we could get Zach Hyman on the cover.
It would be incredible and like pretty on brand if in like NHL 26 the standout feature was now featuring tap in goals.
Now featuring scoring in front of the net.
You can score from 6 inches out. Pretty sick, right? Like that would be unbelievable.
Well, I mean, when you were talking about the one-timer thing, I'm like, oh man, it would be hard to not want to be the Oilers because in addition to all the great offensive players they have, got Evan Bouchard back there, and if one-timers are rewarded, amazing. And then my brain went to, but you know, it'd be even cooler if they were prioritizing just tapping it in.
I agree.
How do you feel about Macklin Celebrini? Are you scared that he's like hurt? Precautionary? How do we feel?
I was still streaming, and I had the game up just kind of in the corner of my eye on my other monitor last night. Saw like the player and was scored on the breakaway, and I saw him just kind of going to the boards. Stopped breathing for a couple minutes. It doesn't look like it's his foot, though, from my understanding. Looks like it's his shoulder, which I think is like a good thing considering he fell into the board. Like, I don't know. I thought that it might be a long-term thing, and I hope it's not, man, because goodness, the first few preseason games with Macklin Celebrini, it is different watching him with the puck, and I haven't seen something like that since like prime Joe Thornton. You know,
that team
as a Shark fan,
that team looks so fun, man. I saw our friend Jay Fresh, I believe, was trying to take a shot at the Sharks, and he tweeted out their defensive pairings, and he said,
"Oh yes,
it was Mario Ferraro and Cody Ceci," and he said the Sharks' top pair is basically 2 Cody Cecis, and I was like, I don't know if you're trying to say that is a bad thing. That's the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life. What a top pairing. What a team. What vibes.
My hopes would be they're still going to finish last, but my hopes would be like 2 years ago Buffalo Sabres, where they score 6 but give up 7. You know, that would be the most amount of fun.
That's
think
what
that
we
we're
call
still a couple years
high
ago.
octane hockey, pal. That's what we like
exactly.
to see.
That's the
All
real
gas.
pure stuff. That's none of this newfangled 3-2 bullshit. Nobody wants that. Well, Cam, you're the best. Thank you so much for coming on with us. I should note that the chat was hammering Parappa the Rappa references, and that makes me very happy as somebody who only knows like 3 video games. But you inform us very well, and once I ever get a system, maybe we'll do some stuff together.
Chat can go ahead and litter the comments with everything that they want in NHL 25, everything that they hate about it. Hate sells, so go ahead and hammer those comments, please.
We got a lot of that over last time I was on. You guys, NHL, there's always a lot of hatred for it, but I still will never get over the fact that you know 3 video games and Parappa the Rappa is one. So it's always great to hop on, guys. I appreciate it, and go Sharks.
We'll see you soon, buddy.
Go Sharks. Bye, buddy.
We all silly like the mayor.